What is going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the Moto G Stylus of 2024 and my top 4 reasons why you should definitely consider purchasing it. It's that good of a phone. Stay tuned. So the first thing I want to talk about in a bit of detail is the actual display. Now with the Motorola G Stylus of 2024, you're going to have a 1080p screen. Now it's a little bit more than 1080p. I think it's like 1080p by 2460 or 25, whatever. Beautiful display. 395 pixels per inch, and it's OLED. Now in previous models, you didn't have an OLED screen. But if you have an OLED screen and an LCD screen next to each other, I think most people will be able to tell the difference. So when it comes to watching content on this device, you are going to have a great time. I'm talking about great time. This thing is beautiful. It gets really bright. I think it's about 1,000 nits or 1,200 nits, something like that. It's gonna get really bright. With you having 120 hertz, scrolling and transitioning into different apps, it's gonna look buttery smooth. Man, in my opinion, it doesn't get too much better than having OLED, unless you have like a AMOLED screen from Samsung, or that old school screen from Samsung, which was, I think it was on the Note 10 or the Galaxy S10. I think that was that one, where they have over 500 pixels per inch. Crazy, something crazy like that. But we're not talking about that phone, we're talking about this phone. So as I was saying before, beautiful screen, you're gonna love it. That's one of the main reasons to purchase this device. Now, reason number 2 is gonna be the overall battery. Now, the Moto G Stylus for 2024 is gonna have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, it's nothing new. Motorola has been using those size batteries for quite a long time now, but in my opinion, this one is probably the most efficient. With the Snapdragon 6 Gen 1 that's in here powering it, I have been able to get 6 hours plus of screen on time. And that's with me being on YouTube for almost 4 hours. And at the end of the night, having 35% battery left. And then on top of that, you got 30-watt wired charging in this device. Now, it's not the fastest charging in the world, but 30 watt is definitely more than some premium phones out there. I'm being honest. Some of them premium phones should be charging a lot faster than what they are. You got a device half the price, third the price, charging faster. Doesn't make any sense. Now, if you don't want to use the wired charging, you also have the option of using wireless charging. Now, that's a big deal because usually wireless charging is for a more premium phone, a phone that you basically pay a lot of money for. But yeah, the device has 15-watt wireless charging. So you got a couple different options when it comes to that. But if you want the absolute fastest speeds of charging, getting the most battery in the shortest amount of time, then you're gonna have to use the wired one. Unfortunately, Motorola does not include the AC adapter in the device. But if you have an older AC adapter laying around, like from a previous phone, you know, when they used to give you the charging bricks, then you should be able to get those 30-watt speeds. So that's reason number 2. Now, reason number 3 is going to be something that I mentioned previously, the Snapdragon 6 Gen 1. Now, the 6 Gen 1 isn't the most powerful processor in the world, don't get me wrong, but it does the job. 8 gigs of RAM built in, as well as 256 gigs of internal storage. You should not have any issue doing your everyday basic tasks. Now, you can play games at 60 frames per second. I played Genshin Impact, which is one of my favorite mobile games, at 60 frames per second in low resolution for about a good hour or so. And the game actually popped on and told me, like a little pop-up, and said, you want to put it in performance mode? And I was like, oh, I didn't know this phone had that. So you put it in performance mode, they call it turbo mode. And what happens is you use up a little bit more of the processor, or use the processor a little bit more, but you lose your battery life a lot faster, which, I mean, obviously that makes perfect sense. But overall, having something like that in a device, a feature that I didn't know exist, pretty cool. Now, reason number 4 is going to be the cameras. Now, before you get all hooping and hollering and everything, chill out, people in the comment section, all right? The cameras are good for the price. Do not compare cameras on a phone that costs $399 retail price to a phone that costs $13.99, $14.99, $15.99, you know, because the price is crazy these days. Cameras are pretty good. You got a 50 megapixel main sensor that's wide, and you have a 13 megapixel ultra wide. You also have OIS, optical image stabilization. And on the front, you're gonna have a 32 megapixel selfie cam. Now, both of these cams are able to shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second. That is the max resolution. You can see, got the viewfinder here facing me now. But 4K 30 frames per second on the front, and also 1080p 30 frames per second. Now, when you go to the rear, You're gonna have full HD as well, but you can see you got the option to go 60, okay? And then if you go to 4K, you only have one option, that's 30 frames per second. Now you see the option there is 60, but as soon as you press it and get out of that, it just goes to full HD. So don't be fooled by that. But you're gonna have other modes on here. You got your pro mode, you got slow mo, you got portrait, and you got night vision. Now, I got some pictures where I took photos at night, and I'll be honest with you guys, it's okay. You know, don't expect flash level performance, but regular day-to-day usage, posting photos to social media, the processing on it is pretty good. You're gonna be satisfied with how the camera performs. It's not gonna be one of those phones you buy on Amazon for about 120 bucks, 130 bucks, 140, 50, and open up that camera app, and next thing you know, it's just about as blurry as an old TV in the 90s, man. You know what I mean? Like, some cameras are really, really bad, but for this one here, it's actually really, really good. 249 bucks is what I paid, so that's the perspective that I currently have. Now, if you pay $399, there are some other options out there in that category, so things will be a little bit different for you. But if you're able to get this thing on sale, the cameras, oh yeah, that's where it's at. And last thing here, I kind of wanted to throw this one in here because it is a common feature that's becoming like more and more and more and more seen in devices these days. The fact that it has dual speakers. Now, it's not a big deal that it has dual speakers because a lot of phones have dual speakers these days, but they don't always sound the best. Okay, there are some phones that cost 2 times the price of this that has the dual speakers, but they don't sound that good. The speakers on this device actually sound pretty good. Now, am I telling you to save $400 and go buy a phone because it has good speakers? No, but am I that kind of person? Yeah, because I did it before. Back in the day when I first started my YouTube journey, I had this phone called the Alcatel Idol 3. I believe it was the Idol 3. And that phone had dual speakers, one firing on the top and one firing on the bottom. Good old days. And then I also had the Axon 7. That's a flashback. Had a speaker grill on the top and a speaker grill on the bottom. Now those things sounded really good. I'm talking about really good. And that was before having dual speakers was really a thing. But once in a while, you know, you get a phone, you pay a certain price for it, and you realize, wow, they didn't put crappy speakers in here, or they actually put decent cameras in here. Oh, they gave you an OLED screen. Oh, you got a stylus, because I didn't even mention that yet. Oh, Type-C charging with 30-watt fast charge, wireless charging, NFC, really good build quality. This is a good device here. So that's pretty much how I'm going to sum up the video here, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, it doesn't get too much better at that price point, but even at the $399, you got to admit, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So if you guys like this video, please go ahead and give it a like, thumbs up, leave a comment if you have anything you want to mention or see in the video coming from me in the future. But until then, I'm going to see you guys next time. Peace.